Many of you work with data in Microsoft Excel, and often you have to import that data from another program. When you do that, many times what happens when you bring the data into Excel is dates in particular are formatted incorrectly. So you'll notice I've added a filter into this material that I've imported from another program. If I go up to the filter, if I click here, you'll notice it doesn't give me a date filtering option. That's because in Excel, when you work with days, what you want to do is make sure they're formatted correctly. They're formatted as a date. And that applies a numeric value to the date so that Excel can manipulate those dates so they can add and subtract them. But by importing data from other programs, they oftentimes don't have the data formatted as a date when you bring it in, so then you're unable to perform those calculations. There are a number of ways, I'm going to show you one in this video and one in another one, that you can change the data from a text format, which is what we've got here in this list, to an actual date format. So what we're going to do is convert this data to a date format. First, what I need to do is to select the data. So I'm going to do Control-Shift down to select my data. Then I'm going to go to the Data tab, and from there I'm going to use the Text to Columns feature. Now many of you might use this in order to separate data when you bring it in from other sources, but it's also useful in how you apply the formatting of those columns. So I'm going to click on Text to Columns. Now in this scenario I'm not really dividing anything, so I'm just going to select Fixed Width. From there, I'm just going to hit the Next button. And truly, this does not really matter, this step, because we're not really trying to separate it into a different column. What we really want to do is change the formatting of this data. From here, I'm just going to click on the Next button, and you'll notice once I'm in this screen, it gives me the option to change how this data is going to be formatted. I'm going to click on Date, and I could even determine how I want that data to be formatted, how I want that date to be formatted. I'm going to do month, day, and year, and then I'm just going to go ahead and press Finish. Instantly, you'll notice that the data moved from the left, which is a text formatting, to the right, which is an Excel number format. So I go back to the Home tab now, you'll notice that it's formatted as a date. And if I were to change this back to general at this point, it would change it into a number. I'm going to change that back into a short date. And now my filter, if I click on my filter, you'll notice I have date filter. So I can go in and say, oh, I want to see everything from last week or this week or next month. So by changing the formatting of my data, I can now manipulate the dates and use them to figure out what I'm trying to do, maybe build a pivot table later on.